Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Fun Time Fridays. Yay! We're taking a little bit of a break from Metroid Prime 2 Echoes because today is a birthday stream. It is my birthday.
Hooray!
Well, technically it's tomorrow, but close enough. I guess you could say it's an Independence Day stream. Hooray!
Happy Independence Day for you Americans.
Freedom Friday.
So we're gonna celebrate Independence Day by playing a game in Japan.
No. San Francisco. Get it right.
Well, no, this is legitimately.
I
in
know.
Japan.
He's Samson.
And then a couple of cases where we're going to be in Great Britain.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got this working because this thing did not want a full screen at all, so I had to force it with an external app.
There are a lot of like accommodations for this game, so that's really good. Like you can make like the text box transparent. You can make the I think you can make the text darker.
That's no. I'm okay with solid.
Yep, that's
Actually, wait.
Maybe a little bit.
No, it seems fine. And then that's if you hit autoplay, that's how long the dialogue boxes will wait in between swapping to the next one. If you decide to go with auto text, which you probably won't want to do because we're playing. That's for when you want the dialogue boxes to like skipping of unreadable text. I would say no. Yeah, keep the Englishes, languages English. Most of the stuff here should still. That's literally
No.
that's literally
No.
for autoplay.
Yeah, no.
I mean, if you want to just experience the story, go for it. But
Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
I would play the game first before.
Yeah.
All right, so first game, new game. We're gonna start with the first case.
Music's already making
The
me think
Empire of
Professor
Japan.
Layton.
After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation
Oh!
brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern
Want me to turn it up?
island nation.
It looks good. Sounds good to me.
Okay.
The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and
My
unsettling.
goodness, I can't believe this
It
is
was a
all
period of
4K.
great
I thought it was just
change.
going to be the menus.
And some was swept away by the tide.
This is going to look amazing on the VOD.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
All right, let's start our first case. The
Yeah.
Adventure of the Great Departure.
Yeah, for the record, folks, the maximum resolution this game naturally has is 1920 by 1080. I used an external program to force it to 4K on my 4K monitor, and there is zero loss in quality. It's just as sharp as if it were at 1920. Well, at 4K, basically. So this game already renders at 4K natively.
That's one thing you'll get used to this. All of the case names are actual titles, and they're not like Turnabout something or other. They all have titles. So this one is The Adventure of the Great Departure. 22nd November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature?
Judicature.
Defendants Antechamber 5.
Yeah, I think I know why. Because they're being titled like a Sherlock Holmes book.
Exactly. That's the whole. Like literally, the last case when we get to it is literally Hound of the Baskervilles.
Thought so.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to it.
I still can't believe it. I can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan waiting to decide my fate?
What?
Oh, no, nothing.
Save your glares, murderer.
Sorry. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Yep.
Really?
Yes, that's the family name.
Alright, so just for clarity's sake, Naruto in Japan means, oh, I see.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now here I am, awaiting my trial.
That's enough! He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke?
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
What are you apologizing to me for?
Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Cosma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry.
There you go again, apologizing. What are you, Canadian? Just like always.
I mean...
Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers this past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you?
Of course not! You have to believe me, I didn't do it. I could never murder somebody.
Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high.
You mean...
Believe me. I know you're innocent.
Cosma Asogi, my best friend. Also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergraduate.
It's not that impressive.
Okay, apparently he can read minds.
Almost been doing. I think those inner monologues, he's actually saying it out loud without realizing it.
Cringe!
The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. My qualifications don't mean much yet.
You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Cosma. Truly. Do we know what his last name refers to?
Not yet. We will get to it. We can get to it later.
3 days ago. Yes. That's when all this started.
That's you still.
Oh, sorry. Congratulations, Cosma! It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last.
I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court.
So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Cosma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple.
I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean, to see the real thing with my own eyes.
The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too.
Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together.
If only it were that simple.
Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going.
Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little while longer.
Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow.
Ivo.
So yeah, the Naruhodo name has actually been since the beginning because Phoenix's Japanese name is Ryuichi Naruhodo.
Ah. I see.
Exactly. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Because in some pieces of dialogue, Phoenix, like, they would talk to Phoenix and say, "Isn't that right?" Because in Japan, they would say "naruhodo" to "naruhodo."
Yeah, so I guess Wright is pretty appropriate for his last name.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like,
Isn't that right?
confirmation is shortened to...
"naruhodo."
Yeah, right.
Exact.
It was straight after that. That's when it happened.
Sogi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. You want to be the father? For him for now?
Well, in this case, just personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Sogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers.
To His Excellency's chambers? Why?
He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense of this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. Should be in the university.
I'll go at once.
Jaika.
I shall accompany you.
Okay.
We'll let her be. Alright then, Rinosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom.
Yes. Thanks, Cosma. God, this is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba.
Mikoto.
I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Cosma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Cosma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked. And never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected. You were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it.
Notice how they're using the British spellings for some words. Favorable had a U in there. And when Cosma said he was that, why are you apologizing? They used it with an S instead of a Z.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it, I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task.
When is it ever an easy task?
You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do.
Just do it. Don't worry. It's not
I
that bad.
do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not.
Defend it! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once.
It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. I pressed A, thank you. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Sogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours.
What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway.
Wow. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dream of studying abroad are over, and what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder.
Da-na-na.
And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. Yeah, it was totally forgettable.
What? What happened again?
Sorry, I was asleep for most of it. What? My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. Duro! Monster card! Did you just say that at the same time as I?
22nd of November, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judication. Courtroom number 2. Calm down.
I'm sorry, I got caught off guard with the facial expression.
Yeah, no, the facial expressions and the animations are way better in this game than they are in the previous games. So
For clarity's sake, the screen
I think they
faded in from black while I was drinking.
Yeah, and also, yeah, like, for like, you very rarely ever see this in other games, but, yeah, Ryunosuke's eyes are, like, shifting from side to side because of how nerve-wracked he is.
I choked so hard I coughed up.
Yep. Get used to the smooth transition and animations. This game is really good with animations. Like, you saw how smooth, like, Kazuma and Eugene's animations were as you were talking to him, right? Like, they were seamlessly transitioning into those.
Yeah, they're not frames like the original game is.
Yeah, it's
So this is a courtroom?
the Supreme Court of Judication. No court in the land has more power.
I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there.
The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial.
That's sus already. The secret trial?
A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials can attend.
What? But why?
It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate. It's about to begin.
Oh.
Well, no.
The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. Wait, ouchie pain. Oh.
As is the defense.
Ouchie pain, really?
Yes. Yeah, you know Winston Payne's original name? It was Takefumi Ouchi. And yes, Ouchi was picked specifically because it sounded like ouch.
Yeah. Ouchie, mama.
Exactly. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial?
I do. This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? I ain't wasting time.
Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will...
Fuck off! It's my turn!
What is the meaning of this unruly outburst?
I would like to inform the court that Ryunosuke Naruhodo will be defending myself!
You'll be... what? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke?
Professor Mikitoba told me everything just now before the trial.
He did what?
He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose.
How sad. It means you don't have faith. You think I won't be able to get you off? Excuse me?
Phrasing? No, it's not that really. It's just that...
Get you off the hook. How hard was that?
Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you...
Yes. I knew that's happening. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikitoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial.
Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel, really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo?
Oh, yes, exactly! Exactly that, what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's completely blank.
I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered.
Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated the most heinous crime indeed.
Can I get a, icon check as to what that means on his fan? I'm gonna laugh if it's actually
I
pain.
don't know, let me double check.
I'm gonna laugh if it's pain.
You keep going in the meantime. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo?
Yes! Your Excellency!
It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken.
My competence? What does that mean?
He's questioning your ability to do the job.
Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am.
So, let's start with the very simplest of questions.
Oh, yes.
Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
Well, that's easy enough. I've heard this name before many times than I'd care to remember. Not me!
We'll just...
I know. But, wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that! What was it again?
Ryunosuke,
Check your court record.
let me guess. Your mind's gone blank?
You know me so well.
All the relevant information for this case can be found in the courtroom.
Relevant. Revel in it. But I can't even find that. I mean, not really. I can
You
find
don't
it.
have access to it yet.
Oh, it's probably select.
Just, no. Keep going.
Anyway.
It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of RB. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there.
Open!
You can stop mashing the button. It hasn't come up yet. It's a prompt. Press RB. Now you can access it. This is a list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with RB.
But I want to look at the other thing.
You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press B to go back.
I'm sorry, did I kill Sherlock Holmes's partner? It looks like Watson.
Well, look at the profile.
It wasn't letting me move it before. Sean A. Wilson. It is! I killed Watson! The victim of the case, he was a visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British
No,
Empire.
that sounds about right because he's a doctor he's a war vet doctor.
Yeah. Well, not sure about the war vet.
I'm pretty sure.
I think that was added afterwards in extra media, like the movies and stuff.
Gosh, Watson was a war vet. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
The 4 wars.
Yes, but he wasn't like practiced in combat, as far as I know.
Yes,
He was-
was.
Oh, okay.
But was he purely a soldier or was he a medic?
Paramedic?
I think he was.
No, he was a straight soldier.
Oh, okay. So he
Well,
became a
the
doctor.
start, but he was a doctor in the midst.
All right, I just wanted to make sure because.
So remember, everything you to do with the current case can be found in the court. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on.
You know, sometimes when I press A, it doesn't actually do anything. Not sure if I'm doing it too soon or not.
Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press Y to present. Try it now.
Yes!
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 Show me your moves. The vixen.
Fix.
Sorry, my throat's still a little froggy. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Wilson!
Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
I'm a cook. It's chocolate chip. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire
Yeah.
is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally.
Yeah, it doesn't even like the scope of this isn't even just this place. It concerns our allies, you know, to the west.
And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation.
Friendship! And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilled on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? You should put in seppuku right now.
Even Shuko has more honor than you.
But do it!
This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our evil government is scared of upsetting England's policy makers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime.
So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it?
Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman.
Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime.
Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going.
All right, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer.
Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant. See you in English class tomorrow, then, partner.
Aibo.
I get a very Narukami and Yosuke vibe.
Yeah.
This is where
It also gives me the same type of vibe that Kenshin and crap, what's the guy with the big sword? Big sword.
Ryunosuke.
Is it Reno? Yeah, so yeah, Kenshin and Ryunosuke.
Oh, yeah.
The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at a university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello.
That's Watson.
Wilson.
Well, it's the Wilson. They're
Yeah,
called-
it's the Watson and Al.
Show him the picture in the corner while you're talking.
Yeah, that's about how he's described with bowler hat.
Yep.
Face
Yep.
He's got his collar popped because he's an asshole. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Wilson!
Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruto.
Yes, Your Excellency!
How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death.
What?
The cause of death? Well, obviously that was,
Ryunosuke, remember that in the court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence.
by evidence, but how?
Find a piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death, then select present. Do it now.
My pin!
It is ironic. His actual name is John H. Watson.
Yeah.
They only changed his last name.
Exactly. They
Yes, that's
changed
the
it.
point.
They changed it to avoid copyright infringement. That's why Sherlock Holmes
His
in this
Herlock
game
Sholmes.
is Herlock Sholmes.
I'm gonna get upskirt. Nah.
Oh my!
Here we go. Physician, writer, British Army surgeon,
Oh,
war veteran, private detective.
nice.
Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma.
Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it.
Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report.
In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death at the autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way.
Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later.
This so-called photographic print of the scene of it. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime.
One gunshot wound straight to the chest.
You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the gunpowder explosion.
So that means it was point blank.
Yes, it does mean that. But you have to keep in mind, these are old guns. They might not, burn all the gunpowder clean.
Yes, true. But in the same logic that we've had before, when the other games.
Yeah,
it's been
don't
like-
assume that the
I'm not,
details
but
are. No,
I'm not.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying to myself, don't assume the
Exactly.
details aren't
Let's
unimportant.
let's see if they see.
In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range
Close.
and killed before he enjoyed his amazing steak in front of him.
Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record.
Photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible.
Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial.
Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened.
This is it then.
think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind.
The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotova?
Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant.
Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Sogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial.
He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he?
Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma.
Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats.
I can't! Only if you rein in that crazy headband and then control the cold stares first.
It's not my fault they constantly have fans blowing towards me.
Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please.
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga.
I really want...
I am the head waiter of a Western-style restaurant called Le Carnaval.
I really want descriptions for these guys' names.
Well, you'll have to wait then, because I'm the one with the walkthrough.
Oh my goodness. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, blood.
It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me.
Well, it really should.
As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago.
Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. We'll see.
Because I want to buy everybody a snack.
We'll see. At once. Because we will need as much time as possible.
True. The last thing I want to do is, like, take up your time.
And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please.
Please.
Yes, that's perfect.
Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring?
It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied.
That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in that place.
It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Why don't I remember any of this?
Yes!
Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up the gun, a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection! I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur.
But
The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruto.
okay, so this is an introduction to penalization.
Don't worry, Newt. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness.
Ah!
If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today.
Yes, without question.
I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student.
Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There's a contradiction. He said there were 3 occupied tables.
Yeah, but like what he said by that, yeah, there were 3 tables. There was no one else.
There was no one else around that table?
What's the matter, Rios? Yeah?
That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table.
Really?
And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do?
Interject.
Yes! Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection! Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all?
But I'm sure of what I saw.
Asanagas, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone.
That's suspect of this guy already. I don't believe it.
I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like. Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Just skip it. Thank you, sir. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well. Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court record officer at once. Of course. Here you go. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was still him. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has entered into the court record. I know what the problem is. Let me look at you, bitch.
Yeah, just give it a
So, the court has now heard a
What? I've never heard of that.
A precis?
I've never read that word before. Can I get a description on that?
Keep going.
a princess of the case.
Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so it's praesis. A summary or abstract of a text or speech.
Okay.
Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you admit your guilt to this at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
Bruh, you realize that most places either issue life or death at the murdering of another person, right?
Yeah, well, look.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I call this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from the sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime.
You just said there were no others.
He said no others at the table. Because now we're getting witnesses from the other tables.
Okay.
Wait,
What do you think? What do you think I should do, Cosma?
do you mean?
Well, I'm gonna be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikota said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this.
As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it?
What?
If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary.
I will protect my trip by any means necessary.
Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet.
Draw your sword.
The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Ouchi, please continue with proceedings.
Well, you were warned. So the young can be so reckless. You know many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses.
Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. This is something you're probably not going to be used to.
Multiple witnesses at once.
Yep, multiple witnesses at once.
Yeah, I kind of got spoiled that.
Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Yasanosa, reporting for duty, sir.
Yasanosa.
Yasanosa. Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually an easy.
Myself, I'm employer purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premise in the 2nd District. Curio Korekuta, at your service.
An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pair.
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned.
Myself, I habitually take tea, the most exquisite aroma, at the establishment in question, always post-noon. I had not infrequently conversed with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying.
Neither can I. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Canne. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele.
Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, if you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident, is that correct?
Affirmative! The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir.
The frick was that sound effect?
Keep going.
This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. What?
Keep going.
He has a baby in his other hand, like a baby toy.
Keep going. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatened. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead.
Yes.
Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable?
If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start.
Now, the court will hear your formal testimony. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred.
So before we continue, we can't inspect things yet, can we?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You can check.
I'm curious.
You can examine. But you can't, like, that'll come up later.
Yeah, I can't flip it over, which is the thing I want to do.
Yeah, you can't do that yet.
What's written underneath, though?
Ah,
That's
yes. Words.
word.
That obviously means the kitchen. And then that words underneath probably the entrance.
Yeah. And these must be the symbols of units in
But-
army.
Those are the tables. And the
Ah.
chairs.
Ah, nahodo.
Anyway. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report, sir.
Please stop doing that. It's uncomfortable.
Sorry, I can't help it. It's a nervous tick of mine.
Unsavory memories of most acerbic afternoon.
Can you speak English, old man?
Do you speak it?
I have been speaking.
What the
English.
witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beef steak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
You know what? I wouldn't mind. Like, I haven't had a steak in a very long time. And I've killed.
Who said steak?
Steak. Yeah, I don't have steak often. I could totally go for one right now. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes.
Stop it!
That black uniformed varsity cadet fired at the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
That doesn't line up with the evidence. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio.
Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim? Yes, sir! Affirmative, sir! That wicked university cadet, sir! The cruel and unforgivable enemy! He's got a sword!
What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day.
Obviously an antique knife.
But this is ridiculous! I didn't shoot anyone!
Is that really true, Ionosuke?
Yes! All I did was pick up the gun I saw lying on the floor! After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant. When I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was... I'm sorry, you didn't hear the gunshot?
Keep going.
I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down and just as I was picking it up...
So there was a second gun, possible.
And because it's so early in the existence of weapons, rifling doesn't exist.
Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was.
There is?
Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses.
Cross-examine?
Do it now.
We have heard, Your Excellency. There is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defense is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice.
Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict in this trial. I like the just I have something to say.
Hi, student.
Hi, Zuko here.
Hi, Agnes.
What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst?
I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination.
Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic.
Huh? How did he know?
The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Well, I mean, if he doesn't, he's dead.
Objection!
The defense is asserting its rights to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant.
Kazuma's so commanding.
It's like he's the only one of a group of 4 that's competent.
He's so dreamy.
Actually, yeah, he kind of is. He's technically the Miles Edgeworth right now. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. All right, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke.
This is where the fun begins.
This is where the fun begins.
But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination.
Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witness's statements.
How?
You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said has to be a lie.
Well, yes, but actually no.
It's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence.
Right. Evidence. I mean, I already know what I'm going to be
All you need
slapping.
to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you.
Fucking... Oof, the lack of power on that.
Yeah.
Alright then! It's all or nothing!
To be fair, this is his first time doing this, so cut him some slack.
Yeah, I mean, even Phoenix had a little power to that.
Yeah, but he had some experience at least. He had some training.
True, he was trained, yeah.
I was investigating regulation being stated in the restaurant. Also, there is part of an achievement for pressing on one of the statements in this one.
Okay,
So just LB on one of them.
I'm wondering. Guessing.
Observe the actions with your eyes. Black uniform, and from the back, the cowardly little ones. Hands on me. I was on my hands and knees. Yes!
On your hands and knees? Could you explain that, please?
That's right. Spurning the arthritis, I was in order to retrieve the lost piece.
What lost piece are you referring to?
The Koban, of course! The exquisite era Koban coin! I had just been showing the rare treasure to the military man as he masticated his meal. After averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished.
The Koban vanished?
Hence I began to acquaint myself with the intricacies of the floor in order to locate it. And then it happened.
You heard the gunshot, you mean?
None other than... Though it was no concern of mine. It was frantically scouring the floor for the aforementioned lost treasure.
So, in fact, you didn't actually witness the precise moment when the incident occurred?
Indeed, myself I did not.
There you go. That's told you that was half of the achievement.
Wait, what?
The first half is for the first cross-examination in the first game. The second part of it is for the first case of the second game.
Okay. Ugh! I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here!
Listen, Ryunosuke. We know there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose
I mean, I already know this
them.
one.
Yeah.
I understand that. The question is, how?
Like I said before, the key to this is using evidence that you've collected. You can examine and present evidence while a witness is giving testimony by pressing RB. Go through each witness statement and the details about each piece of evidence and compare all the facts. Somewhere in there, you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency.
An inconsistency? Metal Gear.
When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seem to contradict each other, present your evidence with why and rip the witness apart. Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you're dealt too many penalties, the defense's case will fall apart and you'll receive a guilty verdict. So that's it. Peruse the evidence in the court record and find an inconsistency in the witness's statement.
Alright, I'll give it a try.
You can hear the witness's statements over and over again as many times as you like. So keep your head and be measured in your attack. Good luck, partner. I like his confidence. Alright, so you know the statement. So the question is, what do you present?
The picture, obviously.
Yes! You could have presented the autopsy report.
Okay.
Because it also tells you that he was shot in front.
Yeah.
What? What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination?
I thought it was insubordination.
Insubordination. Yeah, whatever. Thrusting some photographic print in my mustache.
Inconsistency, sir! Dude, words. I mean, yes! There's a clear inconsistency here. I need to work on that power.
What nonsense! What can this prince possibly tell us that we don't already know?
Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth.
Are you vomiting already? Your mama's spaghetti.
I got it. Yeah.
In his attempts to make jokes, he's tearing his room apart.
I'm gonna lose myself.
This proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom.
This is so frustrating.
Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court.
Cosmo, what?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant, yes and no, sir. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired at the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes! But no, that just can't be.
And why not, cadets?
Because...
Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it?
Friggin' hell, dude. Okay, now I understand the little shawl around his waist.
Yeah.
What the... What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again.
Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were...
That is literally like the baby laughs they use in most like baby advertisements.
Yeah. It works. Firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir.
Baby.
What?
The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Yesanoski, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all.
That's absurd.
I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom.
Ha.
That was just telling you got an achievement for presenting evidence correctly.
Achievement unlocked.
Yeah.
There's been a complete turnabout in this mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy.
Ha! Turnabout.
So this is what being an ace attorney is all about.
Ha! But I definitely saw him.
Oh no, it's the burger child from the islands. Run!
That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes! But I never fired the gun! All I did was pick it up off the floor!
And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either?
We already proved that.
Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Wow, dude. Like, literally, it's a baby with a soft head. Stop doing that. You were gonna crater that poor child's head.
Keep in mind also, the logic is it's the child of a military officer, so that kid probably has military grade screening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were looking for your Koban coin, weren't you?
Indeed, the prized Hoy era Koban. Hunting around under the table, I was in case my hat had fallen there. Then it happened.
You heard the gunshot, you mean?
Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for it was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoy teardrop. Nothing could distract me.
Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end?
No,
I see.
that lamentable day, the precious Hoy Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. The fact that he's looking at him and the other guy's looking away.
As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard is inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but you will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What?
He really seemed to have a he really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he?
My name is Matty.
Object.
This is the second time this week that movie has come up in conversation we have had.
Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear?
As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency.
Is Kiriko glass actually transparent?
Maybe?
That'd be funny if it wasn't.
I'll take it. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir.
Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. I didn't mean to press that. My finger missed the button.
Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido. Ido Nosa.
I don't.
It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ah! Ido, tension! Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy.
Hey, look. Crap, what's that power-up
It's a
that...
pinwheel.
Yeah, I know, but the colors look like...
Oh, like the shuriken from Mega Man.
It's not a...
I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
my brain can't think of it. It's umbrella.
Umbrella. All right. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
That is like the difference between horseshoes and hand grenades, my guy.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was that young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
No.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Ugh. Gerber.
These testimonies are certainly compelling.
Wait, that's nonsense! The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all!
Please, enough of these outbursts already!
But there was a woman! There was a young woman at his table! You must have seen her! Everyone there must have seen her! Why are they always looking away?
Attention!
Because they're trying to avoid the issue.
Why are you always looking away during?
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly.
But I'm just an art student.
We are not here to listen to your fantasies.
Ah.
It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
Do they now? I didn't get a chance to look at it, but that's not the whole table.
No. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel?
Oh, he hasn't handed it in yet.
Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there was only one place set.
Certainly, based on the appearance of this print. It would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else.
I have no idea what just happened.
It's fine, keep going. Everything should still be fine.
Yeah, it's still running.
Cool. Keep going.
Oh, this doesn't make any sense.
The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record.
Okay. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman.
The waiter said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well.
But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him.
It would seem that we will be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takisuchi Aochi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor.
Wow, we're getting this pose really early on this time.
Yeah. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule.
Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet.
What?
If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination.
I don't know, Cosma.
The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood?
Rules can be so unbending at times.
Okay, so all I will say is, we presented last time, so this time...
Press.
Exactly, but now, which statement do we press?
All of them.
You can, but there's one specific one.
Yeah.
I saw it says one firearms, it's almost the same thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna press that one.
That's fine. It's not, but it's...
No, that's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun.
We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet.
See, I'm not so sure about the officer part because you might be wearing an officer's garb, but you have no decoration whatsoever.
Maybe he just doesn't have it.
But he is a high-ranking military officer. He would be very decorated.
Maybe he's wearing a uniform that doesn't have it on at the time?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked.
Did you?
Did you see it? Did you see me blink?
How could I?
And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink.
You've got glasses on.
So there you have it.
Have what?
Hands up! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman.
I think that says it all, don't you? Let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in his most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Koren-Kuta-san?
Well, yes, I was in an incriminating position. I was on my hands and knees, but we're not supposed to talk about that.
Okay.
Yes,
It's gone at the foreign man. He was pointing his gun. I don't think he was pointing it. Hang on.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed there was only one personnel present. Ryunosuke keeps saying to the contrary.
I know. You must have noticed something else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman.
If only there'd been more people dining there at the time, then somebody else would have noticed her.
Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant.
I know, of course the place was almost empty. It's what you would expect.
Sir, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone.
Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason.
There was?
This was found in the victim's jacket pocket.
What is that, Counsel?
It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant.
Hata Clinic?
Again?
Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. That was the hot tea clinic, not the hot talk clinic.
Still probably
Close
related.
enough. It's probably the same thing. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident.
So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case.
I wonder. What do you think, Skip?
Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really.
Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful.
Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report card to be submitted as evidence or not? Yes!
Why would
Yeah, why would you leave evidence on the table? If it can help you, it must be submitted. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency.
On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues.
I beg your pardon?
I thought I saw a slight quiver in his lip when he started moving. You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for a submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request.
Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. How dare this Kirby enter my court?
Kirby doesn't even know how to speak English, Your Honor. See? Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Ah, yes, as I suspected. He received a D for delectable.
D minus minus.
What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first.
Right, I hear you.
You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you'd like, but it's the day after the festival already for you.
My throat's starting to get strained for doing that voice.
Or perhaps you've forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korakuta-san.
Alright, so I'm going to help you out with this one. Just cycle through all of them. Just cycle to the very end.
Okay, I just want to read this real quick though.
It's
Oh,
not
I
letting-
can't. Okay.
That's because it's going to let you inside.
I'm pressing the button. It's not letting me speed through text.
Yeah.
Wait, is that part of the options that allow you to do that? I think that was part of the options.
No.
No?
It's no. Literally, it says cycle through to the very end, so it wouldn't have. Yeah. So yeah, this one's not a little clear, but we'll go through it. Excellent work, Rhinos. We've gleaned some new information.
Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light.
I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got.
Oh, you mean this?
Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail.
How exactly?
You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press A, and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use min.
Steer.
To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using hin. You can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before.
Somebody's being, like, way too...
Somebody's having a little too much fun with this.
way too accurate by following the actual outlines of the freaking paper.
And
Yeah, because they used a robot to do it.
No shit.
If the crosshairs start to
No,
pulsate,
how good is that?
press A to investigate.
Wait, yes,
further.
I'll get the second. Sorry.
So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail.
Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use right stick, left stick, and A to inspect any areas of evidence that look suspicious. Yeah.
You're not going to be able to read it.
No, I'm just noticing this.
Let's have a look. Some kind of medical history.
I'm sorry, when did this get Fire Emblem?
Yeah, this is how they do the investigation stuff.
Yeah, this is literally a Fire Emblem dialogue.
Yeah, it's like instead of it just being like the 3D model after examining something, you have the images of each character talking on the sides.
Yeah, this is very early Fire Emblem from like the GBA.
He really went back to PS1.
That actually look. I think this way they do. It's how this is done. I think it's better done here.
No, it's fine. I like it. Yeah.
And there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia.
Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out?
It would seem so. Just before the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used lapping hands. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief.
I see where this is going. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain.
There's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well.
Do not eat a couple of hours after this procedure was done, I'll bet.
Yeah, probably. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed.
Yeah. Really?
Sounds like information worth bearing in mind.
Well, that just about proves it. He wasn't eating that steak. That steak belongs to the other person.
Yeah.
With this new information, the meaning of one particular statement totally changes.
So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you?
Definitely.
So now, which the statement is the one that talks about him eating? Go back to the fourth one.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mean to skip it.
Dining all by himself.
Yeah, I don't think so, buddy. Hi-ya!
Yes!
Oh, Poopa Dazaka, Hugga Dazaka, Salmon Slap, Mr. Ouchie.
Yes. Fish.
Well, I think,
About what are you whittling, lad? Call yourself a lawyer?
I wish I could. But first and foremost, here I'm the accused.
Renosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about
Thanks, Cosma.
it. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking.
Wait, what's Floating Bandana's name again?
Kazuma.
Cosma.
Kazuma.
Alright, and thanks for the advice. Korakuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim.
I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy?
Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness's statement... Ah, damn it, I still don't have it. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur?
Sorry, what?
You are not to interrupt the court proceedings with your amateurish drivel.
But...
Let's see if I can explain it in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may have not done before that time is completely irrelevant.
You sure about that? Ah, but that's... Oh.
Pepper Ryunosuke, not to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point.
Sorry,
No, you're fine.
I can't see when I have tears in my eyes.
Oh, it's so
And
beautiful.
stop
that
cutting
you're crying.
onions.
No, I have an eye problem.
Rude.
Evaporating eye syndrome. My eyes just tear a lot at, like, the smallest bit of wind.
Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness's testimony the court has heard have been clear and concise.
No, I haven't.
This medical report has no bearing. Report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly have perpetrated.
This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? Also, he got the slam right!
Yeah, he got the slam right.
What? That outburst have petrified me, boy! Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant?
Perhaps because Hata Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic.
A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me?
Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted. Oh, what's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating...
Just what are you trying to say, Kenneth? He had orders not to eat? So what?
It's all written up in here. Up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off.
What? No, that can't.
Korakuta-san.
What, boy? What?
As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all.
No.
Additionally,
There's more?
this is a bucket.
Dear God.
There's more.
No!
You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that can't possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic.
Ah! Expertly done, sir.
Objection! What? What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photograph. Evidence.
Sorry, prosecution, are you referencing something?
Maybe in the future.
What?
You see, these glasses can see the future.
Naruhodo, are you understanding any of this?
Maybe every other word.
He just looks over at Kazuma and Naruhodo, and they're both like,
Yeah, just like shrug faces.
Judge, he's on crack. Send him to jail.
Alright, on to him. Today was the day that Naruhodo Right Bloodline gained their desk slam maneuver.
yeah.
Hey, you can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Yeah? What if it's not his?
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic?
How dare you?
I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned.
Tables turned.
Aha! Wouldn't you agree, Naruto? Ryunosuke?
Naruhodo. Yes, most definitely.
So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum.
Whose steak is that?
Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak?
Steak day.
The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel.
Council? Oh, that means me, doesn't it?
All right, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of.
Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been.
The victim himself, me! The two witnesses, and as of yet unknown third party. Me!
I cleared my plate, so it's not my steak.
Ah.
Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection! You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person!
Yes!
There was, because I saw her.
When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly.
Cosma?
Are you insane? You would take on the government?
Don't worry, Counsel. I have no issue with it either.
What do you mean?
I have issue with them. Those two witnesses on the stand. In the stand. On the
Oh,
stand?
sorry. I thought it was the start. What?
What are you talking about? We have demonstrated the evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing.
Complicit in murder? No!
No!
So they've been lying the whole time. Probably. That's correct.
Hold it! Negative! There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders.
That's right. That's the man says. Just say you never saw the gentleman. That's what they told us.
So there was someone there.
Oh,
What? What did you just say, Korakuta-san?
oh, no, no.
You were just following orders?
Hold on now, lad. I was
Say you never saw the gentlewoman? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas?
What?
Objection! What is the meaning of all of this?
Ouchie will regret this mistake.
Uh-oh.
These witnesses gave false statements. Is this true, you pair? You pair?
Oh, that's a weird
That's an
statement.
interesting way of putting it. Just one.
Is this true, you deuces?
Just one simple slip of the tongue.
Baby.
Order! Order! Counsel, explain what is going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth.
You, Green Man, explain now!
Absolutely not! The prosecution knows nothing of this!
Again? Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut?
Oh, well,
That's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it.
What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It can only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose.
Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit.
So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut?
Of course, we'll need evidence before we can make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power.
But how? How can we possibly?
Remember how we made progress before?
Before?
We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed.
Now I get to check the card.
Yes. There's no time to lose. You want to do it now? You have access to your court. Chief Inspector Satoru Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Well, that's unexpected.
What is it?
Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hasonaga?
Satoru Hosonaga.
Satoru Hasonaga.
Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point.
It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title.
His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau.
He's Interpol.
Inspector? What on earth?
I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here. Okay, so we need to call back in the waiter. Because he's at this point an undercover cop.
Yeah.
If it's
hang
proven
on.
that these witnesses have been manipulated,
I skipped a...
it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just like I agree or whatever. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe.
Please, wait! Your Excellency! I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god! I knew nothing!
And what does the defense have to say about all this?
Well, Your Excellency... no time to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes to my head.
Besides the prosecutor.
Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses...
Yes!
Well, surely that would be... Satoru Hasenaga-san!
Hasenaga, the waiter who who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Ouchie is Shintoing his pants.
Poppycock! What possible reason could the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence.
Well, what if he's not a waiter?
For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter.
What? If he truly were...
Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hasanaga's son's real identity, as proven by this evidence.
Yes!
Booyah.
Booyakasha!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything.
Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest.
Ah,
You know, the front of the card.
sorry, are you using reverse psychology on me? Forward psychology?
I may not be.
I beg your pardon?
Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes! It's the front of the back of the card! That's where the telling detail is! And then the judge's head just exploded.
I think you broke him. Would someone please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hasanaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau.
What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before?
The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Hold it.
Sup, bro? Inspector Hasanaga?
I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are.
Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card.
I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake.
So, you mean to say you really are a detective?
But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course! Your salary must be...
I was working undercover.
Undercover?
Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover.
You know, rushing the
Have you ever heard of that show in the future, Undercover Boss?
Yeah.
I'm kind of doing that.
Except I'm not the boss.
Incidents at the restaurant. What kind of incidents?
The lady killer. Well, reverse.
That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide.
Calling it now, it's totally related to this case of homicide.
Very well then, Inspector Hasanaga. But you will elaborate on one point for the court.
Is Hasanaga the ancestor of Shelly the Killer?
I don't know. I actually don't
The hair.
recall.
I'm going off of the hair color
Maybe.
and the need of glasses
Maybe,
and
listen.
hiding as a butler because
He does kind of
two are
look
the
like
only-
a younger version of Shelly the Killer now that I
Kinda.
think about it.
Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside me. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other dining. Therefore,
I am to assert. Sorry.
that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you require these witnesses to be in agreement.
I did not mean to press that button. My finger slipped.
Uh,
Sometimes when my finger rests, it's like ever so slight. Like I have twitching in my finger sometimes.
Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency.
Unbelievable!
As I suspect.
I'm sorry.
As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders.
Special orders? You mean to say...
Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders.
But what if this English woman was the killer?
I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea.
I think it would be in everyone's best interest, specifically Ryunosuke's, if he did. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right!
Ah.
One possibility does spring to mind.
What do you mean, Cosma?
Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. But I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman.
What?
You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour.
You mean...
When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett.
Why does that sound familiar?
She is indeed a foreign student, studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical faculty.
What is happening here?
I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies.
I know the last word is Brit. I just can't tell what the first one is.
It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, this case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling.
Objection! But, Your Excellency! send a telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions.
Calm yourself. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my court.
Aha!
Inspector Hassanad. Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency.
But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau.
As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly.
So it won't be a problem?
Nothing will get in my way.
You know, except for dying.
Now I gotta wonder, what does she have to do with this? And is she
Court will adjourn brief.
supposed to represent what I think she's supposed to
The
represent?
prosecution will call the English student Giselle Brett as the witness. To the witness. Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
Is it bad my brain thought of the worst
she a
two words
redhead?
for her name?
Don't think so.
You want to know what I was thinking immediately? For some reason, my brain immediately went to jailbait.
Oh. It's not. It's not.
I know it's not.
Your
Shut up.
Cool. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. That's part 1 of 3 of this case.
You
All right, so here
not
we
gonna
it
make
is.
it through the whole case.
Well-
My throat won't be able to handle this.
So let's see here.
It's already 7 o'clock.
So the
Problem.
art book says renders Giselle Brett renders her pseudonym in English as Giselle Bullet. The name originates from the type of gun that John Watson was shot with in the Sherlock Holmes canon. The localization's rendering of the name makes it seem more like a legitimate name, with Brett being an actual name. For example, Jeremy Brett, an English actor known for playing Sherlock Holmes in the 1984 TV series.
Okay.
So references to references.
Yeah.
to
So
references.
it's basically her name is
When the
referencing
fuck did I mute?
her
I don't
her
know. When did you mean?
her name is
I
referencing
don't
a gun that Watson was shot with.
He didn't
How could this
die.
like
no.
How could this like
What are you trying to do?
I just
I gotta
want
go.
fast text. That's all.
Oh.
I gotta go.
Go to the game. Okay.
Does it work?
Yeah, I gotta go to work.
Okay,
love
bye.
you.
Oh yeah.
Go down to the
Love you
bottom.
too, Zyka.
I don't think
Flip
that's
your
an
snitch.
option.
That sucks.
Okay. 22nd of November, 11:38 a.m. Supreme Court adjudicature defendants anti-Shaper 5. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb.
My heart was in my mouth the entire time.
It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there, you were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, and before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies.
I just find it funny that they kept Phoenix's consistencies in the character.
Well, yeah, that he's his ancestor.
I know, but they didn't have to go that hard. Like, every time Phoenix gets caught out, he's standing there sweating and eyes are all over the place. And even Ryunosuke the same thing. And like,
Yeah, I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer.
Forget it. It's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again.
Are you sure about that?
yeah,
Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your Phantom Lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain. Is she?
That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along.
Yes, you have.
I might not be overly confident in this courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. What?
Keep going. Yes, I can see that. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentleman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene. The scene, it seems. The scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that?
I get it. No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor, and just after I bent down to pick it up... Because rifling doesn't exist yet.
No. Yes, it does.
I guess they just
Not in Japan.
No, even then.
I get-
Revolver,
We'll see if it comes out. I don't remember the
standard style guns by this point in time. It was
Yes, but it's not a thing that they search for in the...
Maybe it'll come up. We don't know for certain. I don't remember.
I didn't have time to think about it, about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen.
Fast thinking by the detective. He apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay.
Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside the dining area.
Ah, there you are. Well done, both.
I think that was, mine.
Maybe.
Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you.
Father or professor?
It's Professor. That's you.
Professor Mikotoba.
Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say.
Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial.
Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can.
Oh, is this how they end up in London?
I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled.
Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway.
What are you saying, Cosma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Cosma? Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young men. To me? Yes. You need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMaine. And it was I who invited him. Oh, I see.
I didn't know that before.
Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible.
International scandal.
Yeah.
For the win.
But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide.
Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that you pair will be put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. And this is a worm. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need.
Of course.
Oh.
I'm calling it now. That's her. That or she's related.
Let's go.
I know. I'm fixing this right now. This is yanking on my other ear.
You want to do her voice?
I can't see.
Then you don't have to worry about
No,
it.
it's because of the angle of TV.
Well, I mean, if he's not reading, why don't you swap it?
Whatever, I'll sit in the chair.
Go to chair.
Go to jail.
Wait,
Do not pass go.
wait.
Hey!
I think he's doing it for him.
Yeah, I get that.
There's literally enough room for me to like stand there, so any average person getting up from the chair I am in the way. Period.
Good luck, Cosmo-san. Sama.
Defendant Naruhodo! Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once.
You guys are gonna be forced
It's time.
tomorrow.
Let's get back to it tomorrow.
I said you guys are gonna be forced tomorrow.
Very.
I'll be fine.
I'll be worse than him because I'm doing a high scratchy voice and a deep gravelly
I don't know
voice.
when I'm gonna be around to pick you up. I may be driving a couple guys.
When?
We're short on time. Let's keep going.
I'm going to work at 7, leaving at noon. It's an hour to their place, an hour back, and then I gotta shower and go.
Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow before those old fossils know what's hit.
Cosma?
What?
Thank you. Really.
What for?
Well, if you hadn't said you believed in me, then I'm fairly sure I already would have been found guilty by now.
Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend.
Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. What was that flash in the back?
I'm the... Huh?
No, sorry, I'm looking up for framing it is on the feed. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial.
You could treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. My wallet. 22nd November, 12:09 p.m., Supreme Court of Judication. Courtroom 2.
Why is it always courtroom 2?
It's either courtroom 2 or 4.
Yeah.
The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Ouchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness?
Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government.
Sorry?
Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about.
It's highly unlikely that the good relations we've forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders? With our nation founders?
Again, terribly sorry.
If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written.
True.
You really have nothing to worry about.
What do you mean?
A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bundled investigation, missing witnesses? Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England?
Shut up! Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing! Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in! By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we've become strong! Diplomacy has never been more critical! Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures!
I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student. And one could arguably study harder, too. But standing here now in your Supreme Court, there is one thing I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Ah! Well said.
Well said, Ryosuke. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror.
You little brats!
Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett.
Yes! Your Excellency!
Think you'll be able to do the voice for her?
Oh, I do declare. No, that's a southern.
Well, what a delight it is to see to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant
I'm
land.
getting Dahlia Hawthorne flashbacks. Tea? Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. That's you.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was you. Is that true?
No idea.
So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court?
Of course. My name is Satoru Hasanaka. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at Le Carnival. It is
Yes, we know all about you already.
Inspector Hasanaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first.
Is that true?
No idea.
If they do it a third time, it's really
More
fun.
importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of.
Oh, yes. I think I did, didn't I?
Yet your description of this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking.
Guilty.
So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for a name and occupation, please.
Han, titty croissants.
That's supposed to be that technically she's speaking English right now.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I think that's what the logic is.
I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what?
It looks like it's supposed to be cursive.
Yeah, that's the point. A very poorly written cursive. The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled
I'm
in
currently
May
enrolled.
University's medical faculty.
Can you get me one too, please? My throat is sorely needing a warm drink right now.
Oh my, what a rare treat it is to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song.
As far as
Am I doing that right?
yeah, you know, you're really perfect. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough.
Yes, I agree. Ha! You'll obviously do fine in England, Cosma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Wait, if we understand it, why is it being written in an illegible manner?
No. Kazuma can understand it because he can understand English. I don't think Ryanosuke can.
Nor you.
You've clearly been paying attention to your English classes. I guess it's just like the way to show, like, oh, she's speaking English.
Yeah, like most people here don't understand, so we're being basically treated like the
I think
people in the
I think it's supposed to be the joke of the Austin Powers joke. If you're gonna be speaking naughty in front of these beautiful ladies, at least speak English.
Yeah.
So she's speaking English right now.
English, do you speak it, motherfucker?
The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss White. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson.
Wilson!
Is that correct?
Wilson!
She says yes.
This could take some time.
So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting. When you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau.
Well, now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print?
I am just chewing the scenery with this guy.
Yeah, that's him chewing the scenery. You're doing it right. You're doing it right.
Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes cast sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps?
Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Prove it! Order! Order in the court!
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolute conclusive witness statement!
Well, looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight described. Okay. You go. I had arranged to meet with a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit.
Yes! No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Richard! Quiet, you filthy wretch! Wretch? Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard! And look at this snow-white angel! I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe.
I'm getting Dahlia Hawthorne vibes here.
Yeah.
You're still making the same mistakes, Suinosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn.
Oh, but he's so annoying.
I heard that, you whelp!
Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the 2 witnesses who testified before and reported back to the Bureau.
Can we have those statements, please?
Can you back that up with a source? My source is that I made it the f up. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go.
Bullshit.
The testimonies of the last 2 witnesses were completely worthless. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. I beg to differ, actually.
There's a lot of places. I would think she could hide gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. See, he gets it.
The hat, the bonnet, the bonnet, the back of her skirt.
Maybe a garter belt? I don't
Unless and until the precise location where the witnesses to have hidden weapon can be shown, this is a moot.
There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun.
Bullshit.
Uh-huh. Those are the witnesses' own words on the matter.
Ah, that's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could breathe.
Ah!
Cool.
I mean, at least he's not saying it out loud.
Stay classy, Renosuke.
To be fair, at least he's not saying it out loud. Don't think about doing anything rash, Renosuke.
But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been some other gun, another gun there that day. Why did you pick it up in the first place, you dumb shit?
Well, I mean, somebody dropped it, right? It's better than just leaving it on the ground.
Yeah, but still.
That was the nobody would have predicted that circumstance. Like, would you have predicted that if you picked up a gun, suddenly another gun at the scene would fire and they would think you were the one who fired the gun?
Truth. Currently streaming. Can I help you? Yeah, you can still do that. Okay. Bye. Sorry about that.
Nope.
Did I read that?
Yeah, you're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun. Yes, that's what we have to prove. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart.
Stealing this hat.
I saw that.
What?
You missed it. Her expression did a brief smile underneath her hat. Basically, if you look at me, she basically did this.
Okay.
All right, so there's same thing as the last time we cross-examined. There's one statement we need to press.
Okay.
Okay.
I couldn't remember what to put the different notes. That's like silver ones and then
That's where they all were. The other ones were behind it.
it's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what are your thoughts?
I put a little too much meat in here. A little later.
Mine's pretty strong.
I'm rooted strong.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, less cream in mine is what I meant. Anyway. It's fine, thanks. I appreciate it.
For a while, the keys came over to the professor, so and they got into the sorry.
Do I need to press on any, do I,
Like I said, you need to press on one of the statements.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you which
No,
one.
I don't want you to.
Unless you press on one and it's not. Just keep an eye on me, because I will be giving I have subtle hints on it.
Actually, to stay for the record, she is faking an inability to speak Japanese.
Yeah,
We know that
she
already.
kind of is.
Yes!
Like I said, I did not shoot that gun.
And like I said, there's no point repeating that assertion over and over.
Oh. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side.
Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand.
Well, yes, that's true, but all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, there was someone much closer to the victim than me at the time.
It's the highly suspicious lady.
That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel!
Dirty?
Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy!
It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours.
Ho, ho, ho. What nonsense!
The lady is merely stating what she saw.
And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway. Alright, so I did it wrong. Cool.
Yeah, so it's not number 4.
It's 3 or 5. That much I know.
Yes!
It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Okay, this is the right one.
Absolutely. I verified it personally.
Yes, I did a strip search and everything. You verified it?
Yes, immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not."
Really? That's all you did? You just asked her?
Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No.
Why on earth not?
The Honorable English gentlewoman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing into the matter.
Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps?
Think what you will. But if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, and the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts.
In other words, he wants evidence.
Ah,
That's it. And
The lady wishes to point out that of course she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation. But she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your office has told you to get the woman out of it. Not get her out of it. I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime. Sure. Which is why she is only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today.
He passed away 2 days ago.
the guy from Buffy?
No. Whose mask is he holding?
I can't see
We
from
can't
this
see you.
distance.
You need to make the picture a little bigger.
2000s Doctor Doom.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The guy who played Doctor Doom in the movies of just
Wow, he wasn't even that old though.
56.
Wow. Okay.
Which I found ironic considering Doomsday.
Which is funny because the actor doing Doom is even older than that. Anyway.
Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up.
No,
Hey, it's not game over
Yeah.
until the game tells me.
Yeah, exactly.
You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention to when I'm goading you.
So that wasn't it.
Okay, so it's
she's
definitely
so she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him.
which is an out and out, totally unfounded lie.
Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain.
I like how her
Start-
masked eyes are changing too.
In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform.
Just exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons and the strap on my
And they are absolutely beautiful. Shut.
magnificent, and the sword.
Well, anyway, This is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is.
Oh,
If we can't do that, the trial's over.
game over.
Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room.
Only too well. I feel half dead already. And the fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in your testimony isn't making me feel any better either.
The first thing to do is press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off. Do that, and an opening will present. I promise.
I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination.
I had arranged to meet with a slightly late legend with Dr. Wilson that day.
Slightly late. It was 2.
Maybe she was slightly, or maybe he was slightly late in coming back from his medical from his appointment. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument.
I'd imagine the other guys would have noticed an argument at least.
Yeah, they probably would have. Yeah, but then again, they were trying to hide her presence. So they were also probably hiding that fact, too.
I want to press this one. This is the one I want to press. Is that correct? I didn't think so.
You want to know which one you press on?
It's the first one.
No. It's the one with the stake.
Okay, whatever.
Yes!
I don't understand why.
You'll see.
He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at the Hada Clinic, correct?
That's right.
You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering?
Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment.
So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak picture here. Is that right, Miss Brett?
That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events.
Exactly as it was left.
Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant land on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Oh, fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right. Other than some carbonated water.
That was wine. Just water? Oh, wait, no, the professor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each.
They each raised a glass of carbonated water? There was only one cup on that table, buddy.
What do you think, Sasuke, about the witness's last statement?
At it. It's very meaningful. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing, hmm?
The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls the witness's last statements to be formally added to the testimony.
Well, sidestep, counsel.
Very well. Miss Brett, kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said.
Uh-huh.
That was brilliant. Oh, that's you.
That was brilliant, Cosma. I'm gonna remember that one.
Which one?
The significant will become apparent when the time is right. I can really use that phrase.
I'd hope there were some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that.
Look, I get it. I'm a spineless piece of shit, but come on.
I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water.
Oh, you did it!
Yes!
That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was as exactly as it was left.
That is correct, the lady says.
Well, that is... it's odd. Very odd.
Dear me, what is odd is the defense's inability to express itself.
Ryunosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you?
Well, obviously, it's the cheers.
The cheers?
Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, where's the other cup? There should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1.
Ah,
Whoa.
you're quite right, Counsel. There's only one glass pictured here.
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutia? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection!
It means that there's a contradiction in their statement, that they're not telling the truth.
Minutiaes.
Okay.
Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence?
Someone's at the door.
Yes, it's Shalina. I need you, so there's a bag in the spare room's closet. Just hand that to her, please. Oh, that too, I guess, yes.
Of course not. I would never do something so reckless.
But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you trying to tell me you can clink with only 1?
You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table.
What?
It was also terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she said.
You did put the Walmart bag?
Yeah.
Good gracious. Well, that isn't suspicious, is it?
Haha. I'll have to turn this down.
I am very brave.
There, as I assured the court before.
Thank you, button pressing.
As I showed the court before, this is of no consequence at all.
Oh, please.
We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray?
That's not suspicious at all? That's not raising any red flags to you?
That's absurd.
Oh, really? So do we take it now you are going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief?
What? No, this can't be put down to mischief.
I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene.
Really?
It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying.
Yeah, where's that handbag?
A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England.
So, the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case.
Uh-huh.
Each student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end, it comes to nothing. No pretentious accusations! You have wasted enough time already!
Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed the glass. To think henceforth, we can consider the matter of have no bearing on the case.
No.
Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement?
No. Well, I don't know, really.
If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance here, it's the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say?
Yes, do try to keep up! It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items!
Well, you know, a
Let me
pistol is a small item.
Yeah.
Let me see, a little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag. In which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun.
You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too.
What are you insinuating, you foul blackguard?
Did you check the handbag? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will.
You can't seriously be suggesting...
Oh, sorry.
Inspector Hosonaga,
Yes?
did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder?
No, sir. I did not.
As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag.
No!
Order! Order! Order!
What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations.
Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask.
Do you think so, Kazuma?
Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary.
Unnecessary in what way?
I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print.
It's transparent.
This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting.
Yeah, hang on.
There's a
A
mark on
bull
his...
marking on his wrist.
Yeah. Interesting.
But there's nothing bull related in anything. And that doesn't look like a tattoo, that looks like an imprint.
Maybe a birthmark?
Or no, it looks like it has divots on it, like it's been impressed on his skin.
Huh. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious.
Ah!
As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Holmes. Order! Order! Inspector Hosonato, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. But, like you said before, there is something that we might have to point out about that picture.
Yeah.
I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. That was still cross-examining? The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance. I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling.
Did she double check the contents and make sure that was the right one?
There was only one bag in the closet.
Yeah, and it was the console, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Then that was all I took, so no problem here.
All right.
Why'd you borrow that?
I was planning on buying it because the person trying to sell it to me didn't specify what Xbox. I was hoping it was a newer Xbox. But
It's a Xbox One X or Xbox One.
No, it's not. It's an older Xbox. Anyway,
Xbox One.
It's not one I can use.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime.
And he's a big poopy head.
And he's a very big dodo head.
No, just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, in a worse situation than I was at the start.
What are you turning the fan off?
Yeah, because she was doing voices. Kazuma?
I'm sorry, Ryunosuke.
What?
Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue.
What? You mean this is it?
I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student. But the weak are meat, while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice. A fact you could chew to your heart's content from the inside of your cell.
This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma... It half looks like he's smiling.
No, he's not.
I know. His dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma,
What?
is there really no chance now of turning this trial around?
You heard the judge. There's nothing about the last photograph the detective produced that we can contest, which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling.
It seems we'll have to report to the British government on time after all.
That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all of the evidence placed before me, I hereby find you... I find you, yes?
Wait! Your Excellency!
Ryunosuke?
I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection! This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom. Yes!
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now, that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection! This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print.
I actually want to double check it now. really interesting about this? There's a rose on her handbag, there's chains, the marking on his wrist. I really don't see anything else in this picture that can really tell me anything else.
Nope, there's only one real thing that stands out.
It's the mark on his wrist.
Exactly.
But right now, that has no relevance.
All it shows is the handbag that the woman was carrying on the day in question. There could be no problem with this evidence.
Hold on. Look at all of your evidence again. Look at the other photos.
No, it's gotta be the other photo. Ooh.
He burned his hand on them.
Wait. That means he was eating the steak. That doesn't make sense.
Unless... You better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny.
I've got to admit, that was really subtle.
That is subtle. But if you pointed out the mark, then it would ask you to connect it to something. And then you would have to look through everything anyways.
Yeah, and the
However-
photos were the only thing I would have looked at.
However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbook.
Ha! That's exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes.
Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph that just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it.
Very well. I will grant the defense one final opportunity.
What?
But be warned that if I'm unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Your Excellency.
So, take another look at this photographic print Inspector Hasanaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail into which I have alluded.
You have alluded.
You have alluded.
Hi-ya!
Yes!
Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist.
That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection! Dear me, I was pondering that what new piffle you would have come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist. Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Yes, that is a birthmark. That is a birthmark. A burn mark. You're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when I was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report.
What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.
Well, yes, actually.
The more I...
Sorry.
The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this burn. However, as Prosecutor Auchi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Question, one thing before we go further. Can we go to the post-mortem report again? Time of death, shortly after 2 p.m., second page. Single bullet fired at close range. Fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Just wanted to make sure. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Are you serious?
Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
Wait, you can...
What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke?
It bothers me that I'm way too good at that.
Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case?
Yes! To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful.
Yes, you're right.
I am?
If we can just link that burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again.
Just give up, Council. You can't possibly hope to do that.
Big talk, little man. Indeed. I'm afraid that without evidence, I cannot allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence that irrefutably linked the burn to the victim's wrist and then to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face.
Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means.
Here comes justice. Wait, wrong family. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Yeah. So just present the picture. Go back. Hit present.
Yes!
The music went out, so that means you're right. What's this, Council? Yet another print?
Yes, Your Excellency, I believe that photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore.
Do hurry it up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further could really be quite inexcusable.
Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible...
No, keep going.
Sorry, I thought you said something. It's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore.
What? How?
Objection! You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean.
My boy.
What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
Now you point it out.
Hi-yah!
The beefsteak?
Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on.
The plate? Ah!
Your Excellency, are you alright?
As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival.
Ah.
What the fuck?
What?
Bot asking me to be...
Want me to take over while you do this?
I
can read.
No, I'll deal with it later. I can always do it first. This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape.
Ryunosuke, you genius. You're spot on.
Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
But that seems to raise another question. Why would he let himself get burned like that?
It's not a problem. Just very impressed with my voice acting.
Oh. Well, we appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
Thank you.
But Even if that's the case, we can't even know if that happened on the day in question or not.
Years of practice.
Yeah, we've kind of been doing this for a decade now.
It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time.
He's used to voicing pain.
Yeah, I've been voicing all of the pains in the entire franchise up to this point. Well,
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim.
thanks.
Why?
The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hasanaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly.
What?
I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense has just pointed out.
That means he fell onto his food.
No, it means that his hand was resting there for a while,
Yeah, like as if he was
as if he was already dead.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
So then he was dead before he got shot.
Yeah, ooh, that means he got poisoned.
Potentially. This was no mild burn, that's for sure.
Can you be more specific, Inspector?
Well, let's see. If the plate was around 90 degrees centigrade, and burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim would have let out a scream of pain. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, and I have not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation.
What, you're a detective, not a waiter!
Yeah, but he's undercover, you dumbass. Where you're not paying attention.
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As a defective...
I mean, you're not wrong. He's defective, right?
defective detective.
Yeah.
As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. You know, unless their nerves were shot.
Yeah.
There's no question of that.
And yet, Inspector Hasanaga never heard the professor scream. Not on that day or any before.
That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either.
What are you suggesting?
Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day,
That would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel.
then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would without question have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Professor Ouchie? Prosecutor Ouchie.
Well, yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream?
I almost don't believe it. Mirunosuke, do you think?
Are we doing speed? Are we...
No, too late. No.
I meant, are we doing speed thinking?
First of all, that's not in this game.
Ah. Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at the conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson
At noticed the burn was asleep.
was already deceased. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds, including sleeping.
Yeah.
That's clearly impossible, apart from in one particular situation.
Counsel, are you suggesting?
Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead.
Already?
like how the camera centered on her that time.
Yeah. No,
Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead.
That's madness.
Order, please. Council, explain this absurd notion at once.
Press the A button, come
The
on.
victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student. But clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Ouchie. It's you who has no grasp on the facts.
Your pardon?
As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? You need to firmly grasp it! Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events.
What a twist.
I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But, Your Excellency!
The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Uh-oh. What was that smile?
Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
What? Miss Brett, you speak Japanese?
Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all.
But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now?
My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible.
Get used to this for this game.
So maybe Faye was onto something, because their interpretation was zealous Brit.
That could be it.
Sounds like an ass.
That could be. Oh yeah, literally. Let's just say there's a lot of racism towards the Japanese in this game.
Oh jeez.
But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level.
Oh, well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you have graciously afforded us.
I see.
You absolute kiss ass.
In that case, Miss Brent, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. Shouldn't there be a period after Doctor, like the DR?
Usually, yes.
I didn't see it there. But... So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter.
Honestly, a period is nothing in comparison to a lot of Capcom translation errors I have seen.
Oh, that's true. Things are getting interesting in this game. Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken police probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
Well, if there's no trace, this is actually starting to sound a lot like that other thing you were talking about, where the person died from poison. That is untraceable, unfindable in the bloodstream.
That is something we should. That statement there, I feel like we should press on for more for more clarity on that. I don't know about you.
The last one or the
last one.
Yeah.
That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you.
As the most evil vile.
Easy does it.
Yeah, easy does it.
Settle down, Casanova.
I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue.
Listen here, you wench.
Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
No, you just insulted everybody in the court.
It's just a prank, bro.
Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that the spurious talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant.
Somehow he comes off as more punchable in this scenario.
Yup.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
Your Minister of Justice?
May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible.
You know, if you get that far.
Amen.
Huh? Thanks? What? Was that a prayer then?
Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, but put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination of this trial. Sure it will.
Yeah,
If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear?
I like how, like, this game franchise has this penchant to just go, this is happening and is the truth. No, it's completely the opposite.
Yeah.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Then you may proceed with your cross-examination. That is an anime trope if I ever saw one. But the main character is always going, all right, let's do it.
You want to know why? The stinging pain is there to enforce that their focus is now
Oh yeah, no.
strictly ahead.
No, oh no, it wakes you up and makes you focus.
Yeah.
I do it sometimes.
Yeah.
So we said the last statement, right? So we might as well focus on the last statement.
I wish... Okay,
Like the first time you read something, it forces you to read it to the entirety, but then once you see it again, you can fast forward.
yeah, but the other games didn't do that.
This is a different type of game.
I know, I can tell.
As Solid Snake would say, not happy about that? Get over it.
Inferior? What do you mean by that?
In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once, and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right! La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
There's a point to this. Keep going.
It doesn't occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand?
He is. He has...
Killer blow! The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful!
That's you.
Oh, amazing. Sorry, I thought that was...
Yeah, you gotta read the name tag.
He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense.
Nope. I very much doubt that.
Still, there is something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. Wait, are we going to say that he has the ability to perceive?
You'll
pulse?
see. You'll see. What did you think, Mianosuke?
I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, it's not turning up any new information.
Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over.
But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue as to somewhere to help find a chink in our armor.
Armor spelled with a U.
Yeah. Cosma,
What, Mianosuke?
there is one thing I noticed, something that's been bothering me.
Bothering. You mean about this bread?
Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga.
The detective?
Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe.
Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing on her on her last statement one more time.
If you think so, but
But this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective.
alright then. Wonder what Cosmo's thinking. Wait, is this going to be something that's going to happen in the future where you're like talking to one of the person's testimony, but then bring it up with the other person in the list?
You'll see. This mechanic, I think, was first introduced in the crossover with Professor Layton.
Okay, cool. I'm
Because I think that was the first Phoenix Wright game that had multiple witnesses on the stand.
Have you played that yet?
I haven't, but you could focus on different people while the testimony was going on.
I really want to do that.
Yeah, just
So, just for clarity's sake, folks, this guy is a big fan of the Phoenix Wright series. I mean, I am a fan too, but he's a bigger fan than I am. I am more of a fan of the Professor Layton series, which is a puzzle-oriented game. They actually have a crossover game that does a little bit of both.
and I own it. If we can play it, we can play it with your 3DS.
Yay! I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again.
Yeah, so go to her last statement and press it again.
Wrong
Press.
button. Wrong button.
Yes! Wrong lever!
You could just skip to the right. Just don't go too far.
Wait.
Press A.
Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why?
Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the English woman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity.
What do you mean?
When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down.
You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts.
It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought.
Sorry? Pursue?
I'll explain how to do it now, Rhinos. It's all to do with the witness marker.
What marker?
At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with the D-pad, you can turn your attention to other people on the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue.
Am I to guess on the harder ones, they won't have that little speech bubble above them?
Oh no, they'll still identify that when like a marker like that happens. It's just later on there will be more people on the stand. At
Yeah,
that time.
so some of those will be red herrings.
or it might just be you won't know who's reacting to it, and you'll have to cycle through all of them.
Fair.
If if you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people in the stand, take a good look around.
Alright then, so first I should move the marker across with the D-pad and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with A and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
There will be instances where it doesn't react, where there'll be like there'll be something where there's no reaction, but it'll be so blatantly obvious. It's like, wait, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah.
All right, so now switch to him and press it.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. What's the meaning of this?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply.
It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say.
If there's something you'd like to say, please share it with the court.
Objection! What is the meaning of this? It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately.
Oh, is that how it works?
Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness.
Yes! Not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved with the case.
Very intimately involved. He was making out with his business card earlier. Don't think I didn't notice. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless.
What do you really mean by that?
I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done.
A crime scene thief?
Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example.
Is that?
This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took from the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says.
Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it.
One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence.
Carbonated water. But it's actually poison because she didn't actually clink glasses. He drank alone, and he died because he drank it.
Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death?
Yes, it was that bottle.
What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question.
Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. So now that we have the bottle, we can present it on one of those statements. Okay.
Yes!
You're jumping the gun.
Dang it! I have to press first?
No, that was the wrong statement.
Okay, fine.
What appears to be odd is the way you're presenting yourself.
Pay no attention to your safety.
As you wish. Now kindly lower your hand.
You know, I just realized, it just occurred to me, the pin that we have for the thing is actually the symbol that they've been using in the background of every single Phoenix Wright title.
Yeah, exactly.
Never, not until I've proven that I'm innocent here.
Okay, so look through all of the statements
It's the
again.
next statement.
Look through all of them. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Now you present.
Present death.
Yes!
There you go. What is this? The bottle of water?
Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Uh-oh. Obviously, I'm referring to poison.
Poison.
The poison you. That poison?
Poison?
Sorry, drinking. On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass?
And that glass that was in her thing, in her bag, that was his glass, maybe? Order.
And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Giselle Brett, it was you.
On that day when the sky fell away, our world came to an end.
Objection!
This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence!
Actually, I used evidence to prove it.
You little rookie imbecile! Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling of your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Don't bring the woomies into this.
Wooey.
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
If I may.
I will silence you forever for this ding-ding.
Good. Finally, someone told told him to shut up.
It is you who should be silent.
Thank you.
Of course.
Boy.
Where did that come from? She just snapped. Uh-huh.
I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
Don't. Good. It's good that you told him to shut up. I'm sorry, milady. To what are you referring?
I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not.
Of course.
You did?
Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time.
I don't believe it.
Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency.
That's because she didn't slip it into the bottle. She slipped it into his cup and then stole the cup and left.
Or he just said that he tested for every poison in this country.
True, that too.
It could be a British toxin.
Yeah.
What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself.
No! No!
I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You have successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you.
Okay, Jezebel.
But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
I look forward to removing that top knot.
I was so sure.
This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, the shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit.
I'm done for.
The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Mr. Woods.
Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present to the court at this point?
Kazuma?
I'm sorry, Yunosuke, I have nothing more.
Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Say what? Oh, right! They were going to get something at the thing! That's right.
Please wait.
Isn't that...
What is the meaning of this?
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susatomi Toba, judicial assistant to the defense.
His daughter.
Yes.
Ikotoba. My darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. A blur. And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in a furoshiki cloth.
And that, kids, is how I met your mother.
To be continued.
Oh no, trust me. I ship those two, and you'll understand the reason why in the next couple of chapters.
Yeah, honestly, cutting it off now would be good because we only have 15 minutes left.
Yeah. Although I will say next week, if we could at least finish this chapter, if that's okay with you, Josh, we could cut off one of the two. Which would you prefer that we cut off?
Final Fantasy.
I'm game.
So you'd prefer to put off Final Fantasy, huh?
Buddy, I want Corjaxis out of my hair because I am really not in the mood to do a boss rush.
No, fair enough.
Also, can't do the, the fights that I unlocked in the Battle Simulator?
Yes.
I have to reload Chapter 17. Go through that whole chapter again.
Alrighty, folks, that's us for tonight. We'll see you guys again on Sunday for some Monster Hunter Wilds with the new update that introduces Lagiacrus and my favorite Swiss Army chicken, Ceregios, as well as a whole bunch of things like reskinning your sword with transmogs and a whole bunch of other quality of life improvements. We'll see you guys then. If you want to check the rest of our schedule, check our offline page. If you want to join our lovely community, please join us here on Discord. And if you want to watch us live, watch us here on twitch.tv/Turpinator. We'll see you guys then.
Catch you later.
Woohoo!